This is Cashology by FMBO, a podcast devoted to the art and science of managing your money. It's like school, where your only homework is living your best financial life. Class is now in session. Put on those ugly sweaters, the festive socks, and have some hot chocolate by the fire. Today we're talking holiday spending and saving. Jingle those bells, people. Welcome to Cashology podcast, hosted by your guide on the path to financial savvy, Juli. Today, our guest is David Erlbacher, branch manager for one of our FMBO branches located in Kansas. Welcome, David.
Hi, Juli. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite holiday food that you just cannot wait to eat every year?
You know, my aunt makes some pretty fantastic fudge. And so every year, from Thanksgiving on, she usually has batches of it. So I'm pretty pumped to have that this year.
Oh, wow. Do you ever help her make it, or do you know the recipe?
I don't. I think it's one of those things that she's been making for decades. And I don't know if she could even tell you the recipe at this point. It's probably just a little of this and a little of that. And we have an awesome fudge. So,
oh, that's great. Holiday traditions are really good, especially when they involve food.
I could not agree more.
Well, today I wanted to talk to you about holiday spending. And, this year, because of the pandemic, things are definitely a little different when it comes to holiday spending. We definitely anticipate that people will be avoiding crowds. Black Friday crowds may not be as big as before, and maybe more online shopping, maybe more coupon clipping, and more planning ahead. And that's what we definitely want to focus on today. How do we plan ahead for that holiday shopping where maybe things can get a little bit out of control, and we love our loved ones. We want to gift them the best things and cook that fudge and buy all the groceries, but really want your advice on how to do that. And I'm curious, do you know, with all these celebrations, how maybe there's some ideas that we could celebrate without necessarily breaking the bank?
So when it comes to holiday spending, I think, people love to go crazy and love to spoil their loved ones. But one of the things that I think is most important is actually, finding out and creating a list of who you're going to shop for this year and creating a budget. And more importantly, that budget should be started and created early on. So I think October is a great time. One, it helps, set the stage a little bit so you're not rushing and trying to buy things at the last minute. But two, it helps spread out your spending. So whether you're going to pay cash for something, or you maybe want to put something on a credit card and earn some points, that sticker shock doesn't come all at once the earlier you start.
Yeah, I agree. I really love giving gifts. I really enjoy that experience of finding the right thing for the right person. And I never think ahead about it, though. I think all year, oh, what am I going to get, my parents or my brother? And then I kind of procrastinate actually getting it. And then when the time comes to, the holidays coming up and it's time to actually purchase the gift, I panic a little bit. And then I end up buying maybe the item for more than I should have because it was on sale a few weeks ago and I didn't catch it. So I think the planning ahead part is really important. It's easier said than done, for sure. But I also think there's something to be said about looking for sales and keeping an eye out. I am constantly tempted by sales that retailers have, and trying to capture the right moment to purchase something is kind of an art, I think.
It is. Yeah. I agree. I think we live in just such a digital society where you're inundated with emails all the time, and it's monitoring that. But, at some point, I think if you recognize a great deal, it's just great to execute that. And one, it checks that person off your list. And two, hopefully you feel good about it. You didn't break the bank to, spoil that loved one. And it just makes life a little easier, hopefully a little less chaotic. And, with the push of a button online, that just makes life 10 times easier.
Yeah. And, my family is pretty small. Like, I only have my parents and my brother to shop for. But for those who have larger families, one of my best friends has five brothers and sisters. So their family is huge. I mean, she has cousins and everyone, and they do a fun thing where they put all their names in a hat and they pick out one person that they're going to shop for, which I just absolutely love this idea because then you're just focused on this one person. So the the likelihood of you getting the perfect gift and for you not breaking the bank is so high. Um, so I really like that idea, and I think it would be a really good recommendation for anyone with a big family or a lot of people to shop for.
Yeah, we've done that. I've got a lot of cousins, and so we've done the same thing. It just makes life easier, and because there's so many different age groups and likes and things that people have on their wish list, it makes things easy. So I would recommend that too. Give it a shot this year if you can.
Yeah. I'm wondering though, for you mentioned obviously building a budget and maybe starting before the holidays begin in an October fall timeframe. So, how do you start building a holiday budget? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so budgeting, as you mentioned, I mean, everybody has different size families, big and small, and so I think what's important is to recognize, who you're going to buy for, and for me and my family, it really doesn't change year over year. So I think once you recognize who's on your list, and thinking of some different gift ideas, and recognizing, are you going to spend the same amount per person, or recognizing that your total cost for holiday spending. And then if you start in October, you've got several paychecks between now and December that you can break up that total. So maybe it's every paycheck you go and buy two or three gifts for two or three loved ones. And then come December, you've hopefully A, stuck to that budget or that dollar amount, and B, it's not sticker shock. You've not put something on a credit card or drained your bank account, and you're not scrambling to figure out how to make other ends meet. So I think time is, when it's on your side, it takes the stress out of holiday spending.
There's also spending on groceries or decorations. I mean, I definitely love buying decorations for holidays. Oh my gosh, that is like my favorite hobby. And I think sometimes it's interesting to tell myself, what you have already, you can repurpose. You don't need to rebuy everything every year. I have plenty to decorate and be happy with. And if I do want something, trying to find it on sale or at a good price is probably the best route to go. Do you like to decorate?
I like to, but I'm a terrible decorator, so I usually leave that to
Oh
my
no.
family. Yeah. So, but I appreciate when it's done. I love a decorated tree and just everything looking and feeling jolly. Um, but I think you bring up a good point. As far as repurposing, and we talked a little bit about planning. I know that after the holidays, there are often some really great sales, so it puts into planning for a year in advance of what decorations you might want to purchase for the next year. And then in addition to that, you kind of mentioned food and how that can be expensive. And I think a lot of different grocery stores, start having sales, and there are things that you can buy that are non-perishable that, if you can take advantage of over a few weeks, then, again, come those holiday meals, it's not a complete shock. You just have the fresh stuff to purchase.
Yeah, I agree. I love planning what dishes I'm going to make, and contribute, which is another thing too, I suppose, trying something new, different dishes, doing a potluck is always something. And I think always having an idea of what kind of parties, while they may be small this year, you'll host and how much you're willing to spend on that, the holiday gatherings.
Yeah, I think the potlucks. I've got family that we all engage in a potluck just because it makes life easier and it takes the stress off the host. And then there is that financial benefit too. It's not on one person to feed an entire family. So that definitely makes life better.
Are there any holiday traditions that you really love? I mean, we talked about your aunt's fudge, but is there anything that you, as a family, do that you look forward to every year?
So my family celebrates Christmas, and I think one of my favorite things is my aunt. So the same aunt that makes this world famous fudge. has an open house every year, and they've been doing it for decades. And it's great because we get to see friends and family, and everybody's stopping by. And we do our Christmas celebration on Christmas Eve, and so it's really nice because we've been with family all evening, and then we are able to go to church, and it just feels very lighthearted. And the next day it makes Christmas Day just kind of a breeze. We get to just spend time and have a breakfast together, and I just think it's really exciting to just spend time with all of them. So
special. Our family celebrates Christmas as well. And on Christmas morning, my mom makes cinnamon rolls that are just so good and relatively simple, but the smell of cinnamon rolls always reminds me of home.
I'm drinking my coffee right now, and I think a cinnamon roll would make it that much better.
Oh, yes, it definitely would. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell our listeners or impart on them regarding budgeting for holiday spending?
I think the long and the short of it is budgeting is super important. I think it's important to not stress and think that you need to overbuy. Just because you have some available credit on a credit card doesn't mean you need to max it out. Really, at the end of the day, it's about spending time with your family. And if you can get a gift and make that extra special, that's great. But don't put yourself in debt just trying to make other people happy.
Yeah, great advice. Well, David, thank you so much for joining us today. So, branch manager in Kansas, how long have you been with FMBO?
12 years. So it's been pretty exciting. I spent some time in Omaha and now Kansas. So
wow, 12 years. That's amazing. Awesome. You've been a great guest. We really appreciate it. And if anyone who's listening is interested in learning more about opening up a savings account or any financial products, just go to fmbo.com. And don't forget to subscribe to Cashology and keep an eye out for more podcast episodes coming your way soon.
Well, Julie, thanks for having me. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, David.
Happy holidays.
The Cashology Podcast, copyright 2020, First National Bank of Omaha. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Podcasts are for informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. When making decisions about your financial situation, consult a financial professional for advice. Podcasts are not regularly updated, and information may become outdated. Deposit products are offered by First National Bank of Omaha, member FDIC. Investment products are not FDIC insured, not a deposit or other obligation of the bank, not insured by any federal government agency, not guaranteed by the bank, may lose value.